Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Reserved Investments, and welcome to the next level of investing in the antiques and collectibles trade. Thank you for joining me today. Today's video is going to be one of the most important videos on this particular YouTube channel. In today's video, I am going to be giving you my insider tips and tricks on how to succeed at bidding in auctions. And make no mistake, when I say succeed, it doesn't always mean that you need to win the item in question. That's part of understanding auction psychology. You have to know when to pull away. You have to know when to let go. You have to know when the item is selling for more than full retail value. At that particular point, you got to cut your losses and walk away. Remember what I have told you guys in some of my other videos. I bid on a lot of items, an online auction, even in certain cases, sometimes in person at auction houses. I win very few. That's the way this game should be played. If you're going in with the mindset, you have to win every single auction, I hate to say this, you are a Timmy, you are a Kimmy, you are a Poindexter who deserves to get slapped in the face with a stale donut. Now, with that being said, there's certain things you need to understand before we go any further. First, you need to know what type of auction you are bidding in. Now, I know this sounds like common sense. There's probably people that are ready to turn the video off. What the hell is he talking about? Well, are you aware there are different types of auction formats? There are English auctions, there are double auctions, there are sealed bid auctions, there are Dutch auctions, there are Chinese auctions, among others. Now, luckily, for a lot of you guys watching this video, if you're involved in the antiques and collectibles trade, if you're bidding on sites like eBay, Heritage, Comic Link, Comic Connect, Morphy's Auctions, Christie's, Sotheby's, most, if not all, of the auction sites that I just mentioned utilize traditional English auction formats, also known as ascending bid auction format. Now, do you want to know what that means? All is what that simply means is that the bid opens with a low price, and each subsequent bid that comes in raises the item's value higher and higher until the end of the auction. That's why English auctions are sometimes referred to as ascending bid auctions. See what you learn when you subscribe to Reserved Investments. See all the information that I give you. Most people don't even know what type of auction format they are bidding in, and they call themselves sophisticated investors in the antiques and collectibles trade. Now, with that being said, once you understand the auction rules, the auction format that you are bidding on, you must start to understand auction psychology, because this is where a lot of the high-profile auction companies start to take advantage of the Timmys, Kimmys, and Poindexters out there. See, auctions are designed to start slowly and end quickly. This is done on purpose to drum up interest in the items. And this is also the reason why most high-profile online auction houses allow items to be open for bidding for several weeks before the auction ends. It's designed to pull you in and get you emotionally invested in the item in question. This is why high-profile investors and dealers, and even in certain cases speculators that make up the antiques and collectibles trade, they understand how this game is played, and they are ready. And that's why I'm doing this particular video. You know, if you guys want to study this, there is something known as auction theory that literally is an applied branch of economics, which deals with how bidders interact and act in an auction market environment. This is something where there are books written on this. There's high-profile strategies that you can employ. Some of them I am going to present in this particular video. You need to understand that bidding in an auction is not as innocent as it seems. If you go in under the guise that you're going to pay anything to get the item in question, I assure you, you are stupid. You are an idiot. You are going to get slapped in the face with a stale donut when you go to sell that particular item at some point in time. That is not the strategy you should be employing. So what strategy should we employ if we're going to bid in an auction? Well, first, you need to know what you are bidding on. Now, I know that sounds like common sense, but believe it or not, there are people, they log on to Heritage, They log on to Morphe's auctions, they log on to Christie's or Sotheby's, and they go, you know, I just watched this crazy guy, Reserved Investments, tell me about antique poison bottles or high-end pieces of currency. I want to start collecting and buying high-end pieces of currency. So they log on to an online auction. They don't know what the hell they're doing, and they just start bidding up the prices, and they hope they win because now they can call themselves an investor. And now they got a piece of high-end currency that was seen in one of those Reserved Investments videos. They have no idea why they bought it, no idea what they were bidding on, no understanding of the collectible market that they just took place in. But now they are the proud owner of this particular item that they know nothing about. This does happen. The next thing you have to do, you must know the approximate value of the item in question and how much you are willing to pay. And this is where it gets important, guys. You also have to factor in all additional fees. Now, most people that watch my videos, they are not partaking in the high-end multi-million-dollar art market, okay? Most people that watch my videos are either in traditional antiques or, in certain cases, most cases, pop culture collectibles. So if you log on Heritage, if you log on Hakes, and you're bidding on a vintage Star Wars figure, you're bidding on a comic book or a rare coin, Heritage and Hakes, I'm picking on those two companies for this particular example for a reason. If you go to place a bid, it'll tell you how much you are actually bidding, which includes the buyer's premium. Most high-profile auction houses charge a buyer's premium, but you will see it being applied as you place your bid. Now, luckily, eBay does not charge a buyer's premium, so you're safe there. The other fees, though, that you have to understand is if you win the item, you may or may not, subject to your tax environment, how you're set up, also according to your state law, you may or may not pay sales tax. You definitely will pay shipping and handling. Meaning, even after you win the item, obviously most of you probably know this, you're going to pay shipping and handling on top of that to get it sent to you from the auction company. Now, if you're bidding on eBay, some eBay sellers will have free shipping, meaning you don't have to worry about that. Most high-profile auction companies like Heritage, Hakes, Comic Link, Morphe's Auction, Sotheby's, Christie's, they do not offer free shipping. I can tell you that firsthand. Now, after you take into account all of that information, meaning you know what you're bidding on, you know the approximate value of the item, you know all the fees, all the costs, you have to set up a price you're willing to pay for the item, and you need to stick to it. This is very important. If you're bidding on a comic book and you say, you know what, that comic book is realistically worth $5,000. Let's say that you're willing to pay $5,000 for that particular item. You need to stick to that price, and that should include all your fees, taxes, shipping, handling. You're willing to pay $5,000 for that item, not a penny more. That's how you have to think of this particular setup. If you don't want to get pulled into a game of tug of war with the auction company, because I'm here to tell you, if you have an emotional attachment to these particular items and you get pulled in to the bidding war, to getting emotionally invested in these particular items, you are going to lose. The auction company's not going to lose. You're going to lose. The auction company and the consignor, they're going to be in the back room laughing at you because you overpaid for the item. And believe me, one of the things that amazes me is when somebody overpays for an item at auction that they could have just easily picked up the phone and called Greg Reese Rare Comics, or even Bob Storms, or any of these high-profile comic book dealers and said, hey, I'm interested in a Batman 227 in CGC 9.4, 9.6. Can you let me know when you have one in stock? Can you let me know what the approximate price would be? Instead, you guys see it at auction and you go, hey, I remember Batman 227. That crazy guy, Reserved Investments, he said he has that in his collection. Therefore, I'm going to bid it up. Well, I saw one go on Heritage Auctions for $6,000. That's a $5,000 comic book, guys, in CGC 9.6. Somebody overpaid for that book in a recent auction. That's insane. You guys don't need to do that. Now, of course, this is the Antiques and Collectibles trade. Prices are always moving. Prices are dropping. Prices are increasing. What is a fair price to pay for these items? Well, that's why you got to do research and you got to pay a price that you're comfortable with. Maybe that particular individual in that scenario, he was comfortable paying $6,000 for a CGC 9.6 copy of Batman 227. Would I realistically be comfortable paying that amount? I don't know. I would really have to go back and do more market research on that particular item at present time. But literally, in all honesty, my top bid on an item like that would probably be $5,000, not $6,000. Would I potentially go $5,100, $5,200? Yes, I really wouldn't be comfortable going much higher, though, just to give you my opinion on that. Now, you must understand what is known as the winner's curse or the winner's fallacy. What this is this occurs when you don't take reserved investments advice. This occurs when you get slapped in the face with a stale donut and don't even realize you got slapped in the face with a stale donut. This occurs when the bidder behaves irrationally and bids the auction price higher than the actual value of the item. In these instances, the consignor of the item and the auction house got a good deal. Let's word it that way. Rather than me calling you an idiot, let's just say that the auction company and the consignor got a good deal. But in all actuality, you're an idiot if you play into that game. Now, let me give you some other tips, and these are the most important tips of this whole entire video. If you're bidding in an online auction, you need to bid in odd bid increments. You need to bid in odd amounts. You never ever bid in even numbers. So if you're willing to pay $1,500 for something, you don't go on eBay and go, hey, this is cool. I'm going to put in a bid for $1,500. That's an idiot way of bidding in an auction. What you do is you wait to the very last minute to bid. Again, let me repeat this. You wait until the very last minute to bid, meaning you don't bid at all in the auction until the very end. And when you get ready, when that auction is ready to go off, literally within the last few minutes, you put in your bid. But if you want to bid $1,500 for an item, guess what? You got to use an odd amount. So in all honesty, you're probably going to want to place a bid for $1,505.94 to use that as an example. It could be $1,503.27. The reason why I am telling you to do that is most people, most Timmies, Kimmies, and Poindexters think they're smart. And this is what they will do. They'll go, well, that item's worth $1,500. I'm going to put a bid in for $1,501. What do you think happens? If you put in your bid for $1,500 and little Timmy puts in his bid for $1,501, Timmy's got you beat. Now, you have to be careful here. Because you notice, I said $1,503 in some sense, $1,505 in some sense. You don't want to get pulled back in to a bidding war over this item because remember, you told me already that you were only willing to pay $1,500 for this particular item. If you put your bid in at the very last minute and it is a little bit more, a couple of dollars more than what you're willing to pay, you cannot overpay on the auction because by the time that bid is executed, the auction will have ended and you will know if you won the item or not. Where people make a mistake is they will put their bid in 5 minutes before the auction ends, 3 minutes before the auction ends, 2.5 minutes before the auction ends. And they'll get the notification that they were outbid and they'll be like, well, I ain't going to let this item go away. They will bid up the price substantially in the last minute or two of the auction, and they will end up overpaying for the item. If that's you, again, do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Slap yourself in the face with a stale donut because you are a Timmy, Kimmy, or Poindexter. And guess what you are doing in that case? You are simply bidding against yourself. This is why when we talk online auction bidding, you do not put a bid in until the end of the auction. And that bid should be the most that you're willing to pay for the item in question. Again, with a buffer of a couple of dollars because you never ever put an even bid in. Now, why is this important? Again, so you don't overpay. That's what it's all about. If you allow the auction company and your emotional attachment to these items to pull you in, you will pay enormous sums for these items. You will go bankrupt chasing Pikachus, Planeswalkers, Batmen, Supermen, X-Men. You will go bankrupt by being attached, emotionally attached to the nostalgia you possess for these items. Remember, guys, nostalgia is nothing more than Fugazi. It isn't real. More videos are coming on this concept because there's a lot of people that love arguing with me about this. Nostalgia is something that's happening in your mind. It is not real. I assure you, if I had a DeLorean time machine right here, and I said, do you guys want to go back to the 80s or 90s with me? A lot of you would take me up on that offer. When we would end up going back to the 80s or 90s, within 24 to 48 hours, you'd be like, well, I got to go home. I know it's going to happen here. I've lived it once. I don't need to live it again. You might be enamored by living in the 1980s for like a weekend, but when it gets to you spending like several months or several years there, it's not going to work out for the long term. You need to understand that nostalgia is nothing more than Fugazi. It is your mind lying to you about a time that has passed. Okay, guys? So with that being said, I hope you got something out of this video. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I love connecting with you guys down there. Thank you so much. Have a great night. And remember, there's going to be more videos that are coming on this channel about auction theory and how to pretty much maximize your success. Not only as a buyer, but we're also going to do videos if you're a market manipulator or even if you're a seller. Because remember, guys, I hate to say this, there are people that bid in a lot of online auctions where their intent is not to win the item. Their intent is to set a floor price for that item. More on that in an upcoming video. Thanks for watching and have a great night.